Hello everyone, hi there, welcome to yet again another exciting edition of Pitchside. Thank you so much for definitely always checking out our content and giving us feedback on anything that you feel is pretty necessary. Those of you who are joining us for the first time, thank you so much, but please go and subscribe, hit the subscription button, subscribe with Tabo Peter or Pitchside with Tabo Peter on YouTube. And let's grow this family together. Quite an exciting period for Ugandan football that we are getting into. We all know the StarTimes Uganda Premier League is not too far away, and it's crucial for Pitchside to sit down and break it down a bit for you, our viewers. Let you know probably who you should be putting your money on, who you should watch out for, and all of that. And there is no better person to break down the new StarTimes Uganda Premier League season than my brother Ismael Kiyonga from Ismael Kiyonga Live on YouTube. I'll again take this opportunity to ask you people out there on Pitchside to also go to Ismael Kiyonga Live, subscribe, so that we can definitely be tapping into each other's content. Ismael Kiyonga, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ha. Who did it? Umenya. Salam, salam. I think we last met in Kigali. Very few people know that me and Kiyonga were in Kigali for the Sekafa Kagame Cup.
Do others also know?
Undercover. Now people can know.
So can I share the
you
photo?
can share the photos.
when you lose some jobs.
No, we are good. Kagame Cup ended long ago, so really, we are back in Kampala working. We've been here for what, a month or so? But yeah, here we are, Ismael. Welcome to Pitchside. But for starters, an overall insight on the new StarTimes Uganda Premier League season. Maybe before you say anything, the StarTimes Uganda Premier League season is going to have 18 clubs this season, but because we have AFCON coming in June, July, there's going to be so many games. Games are going to be played on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday, according to the fixture that has been released. So you fans out there, you're going to be out there watching a lot of football. Ismael, the new season is here. Overall view of what you expect of it?
Yeah, nice to have football back, especially the StarTimes Uganda Premier League, because without it, there is always boredom, especially in the evenings. So nice to have it back. For starters, it's going to have 18 teams. This is an expansion from the 16 that we've had for the past so many seasons. But just to remind you, Ugandans, this is not the first time that the league is going to have more than 16 teams. We had 22 before, we had the 20 before, so it's not new. But to take you a little bit back, we have 18 because we demoted the 2 and promoted the 4. And all this was in line with what we expected to have had last season and of course this season, the new format. Because I remember in some of those discussions and some of the demotes that we had exposed about the new format was the uneven games that some teams could have played. So Engineer Moses Magogo and the authors of the then now defunct format thought, no, let's do this, increase the team so that when we get into the second and third phase, we have teams that are even in all their categories. So that's where we ended up having 18. I'm not sure whether we shall revert to the 16 because previously there has always been an argument that the more the teams, the more the quality is diluted, the competition. But for me, I don't believe in that. I believe Uganda is a bigger country that can accommodate even the 20 teams. Our other issues are about facilitation, facilities, and others, but I don't think the number of teams have any effect as long as they are all well facilitated. Exciting. I expect a more competitive season than the previous. I expect around 4 or 5 teams to try and go for the title, unlike last season where they looked like there could only be one winner right from the start. Yes, towards the end of the season, you could see a bit of KCCA, a bit of Villa, Chitara in there, But even when Vipers dropped so many points from drawing a lot of games, you could clearly see they were to be the winners. In the end, it was a 4-point gap, but the league last season, to be sincere, was not as exciting as the previous couple of seasons.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it wasn't exciting, I'm pretty sure you're talking about, especially towards the end, the eventual winners maybe barely.
I think from the start,
yeah,
right from the start, we did not have a lot of teams playing exciting football. We did not have a lot of teams in the title conversation. Then when you look at the relegation battle, it looked like it was decided even before we started the season. So the season is always exciting when teams are difficult to separate in
when
terms
there is
of
uncertainty.
Yeah, when there is uncertainty. Yeah. But from the start of last season, maybe because we started with the chaos of new format or the format until it was scrapped off. So at the start of last season was chaotic, and so was the football on the pitch. Save for a few clubs like SC Villa, who were exciting on the pitch, and and Express FC, by the way, especially when Jimejit took over, and even before with Kadu, then UPPC played some good football at times. Police started so well. KCC in patches. Vipers, they are always winners. Sometimes it doesn't matter how they win. So hopefully we are going to have a better season. No chaos from the start. We all knew when this season was going to start, and for the record, at least it could be due to the prospect of hosting AFCON that we've had a date aligned before, and we are going to start exactly on that date, because previously it was always tentative.
Yeah.
Of course, the only hiccup I would say is that it took long for us to have the final fixture, because it was just released over the weekend.
Yeah, with a couple of days.
Yeah, just 7 days to the kickoff of the league. So actually less than 7, I think 6 to 5. So for me, that was the hiccup. But mainly, it was because of the lack of facilities.
The club licensing.
Yes.
And I was going to get to that, Ismael, because as we talk about the new league coming through and 18 teams featuring, we also have seen the fixture. You've seen it. Most of the games are afternoon kickoffs, 4 p.m. And I don't know what you make of that. Last season, we had quite a number of fans coming in to watch night games at Lugogo, at Chitende, and all of this, and
Kadiba,
Kadiba.
So,
what do you make of the fact that we have more afternoon kickoffs than night games, and do you think that will affect the fan turnout?
The fan turnout may not be affected, but of course the excitement, and the fact that people had gotten used to night games, because we had Kadiba, which is not going to be part of the Premier League this season, perhaps for the entire first round. Then we had Lugogo hosting 2 teams, that's NEC and KCCA. But for now, their lighting, according to the FIFA licensing committee, don't deserve to have games under floodlights. Hopefully, in conjunction with the Chint, their main sponsors, they do improve the lighting. Then we had Chitende and Nachivugo. Remember that you had 2 teams, Express and URA, then KCC and NEC at Lugogo, Vipers at Chitende, and then Villa at Kadiba. So we are assured of so many night games. It's going to increase with this, decrease because of Lugogo and availability at for night games, and also Kadiba because of its preparation for AFCON being renovated as a training ground. But fortunately, we're going to have more teams playing at Nachibubo. So maybe that will be catered for in terms of more games playing at night. But I would love to see KCCA back. I would love to see Kadiba back. I would like to have Nachivuo. I would have loved to see Wanguku, because they have floodlights. I don't know whether they've tested them and they realize they are not going to be effective at night. So we want more night games. For reasons, some people get off work at around 5 p.m.
The convenience.
Yeah, the convenience. So especially at Lugogo and Ikadiba, they are going to be missed. That's for sure. And probably it could affect the attendance
of the fans.
Yeah.
Okay, but Ismael, let's start from here. Last season, ourselves and a couple of our colleagues who do the same job, who are journalists, were pointing out the need for Express FC to, be organized on and off the pitch, because the pitch exactly wasn't looking good. Well, it looks like before the season starts, the house is in order. They have a new coach. Okay, they have Molly Viekwas as head coach. They have an administration led by female CEO Becky Cynthia Nachimera. They've put together a team. Your mother. Yes. What do you make of the Red Eagles?
My Nyoko. Oh, Nyoko. I salute you, Nyoko. Nyoko Cynthia. Becky Nachimera. So she knows.
Yeah, she's doing a good job.
Yeah. So nice to have Express back.
In that context.
In that context.
Yeah.
Because administratively, they lacked in the past few seasons. Ever since they won the Kagame Cup, things have not been the same. When Isaac left as the CEO, then we've not seen much of the former Attorney General, now Minister of Defense.
Yes.
We've not seen much of Subi. So it looked like a club that was abandoned. But of course, because of its tradition, because of its fan base, somehow Express and Villa have that natural existence that even without administrative structure that is very complete, they always survive. However, I'm just hoping that this is the end of the cycle, because what has happened at Express in this window ahead of the new season is what exactly happened around 2018-19 when you guys you were part of the team that lifted
the Kagame Cup and the league.
Yeah. And congratulations to Cynthia Becky Nachimera. She's trying to put things right alongside the hidden man behind, Hamza Junju. Of course, we cannot take away anything from KK, Subi as well. Then Hajham, because of the availability of Nachibubo. We just pray that this thing is not just a cycle, that after a few years, for instance, when Becky leaves, then we go back to the same cycle. Because this is something that has happened at Villa, something that has happened at Express. For me, about Express and Villa, it's about avoiding mistakes of the past. The symbols of administration that we see here should continue forever, because we need a strong Express.
Yeah.
We need a strong Express. You see the vibe on social media now. They've launched the jersey. They've launched a few sponsors, including NEC, Cornerstone. So we're hopeful that they are going to be very competitive this season, and I would tip them as one of the teams that are going to surprise. But of course, happy to have a strong Express. A strong Express means a strong league.
A strong league.
Yeah.
Briefly, as we leave Express, Mathias Chigonya, Alpha Pierre Sali, you could also throw in Rick Manrick, or Derek Dongu, like they call him. If you look at some of under Batambuze, what do you make of that team? You think that is the quality that can take them far? Briefly.
For starters, they need a team. They need a team, and by a team I mean a group of players that are able to do the job. Yeah. They started with recruiting the head coach, Molebio Kwaso, who has experience managing the league. Then he's going to be assisted by Edward Kaziba. So that's a lot of experience on the technical bench. When it comes to the signings they've made, we know in the past, Express has been a hub for resurrecting talents. Yeah. Mathias Gonya's quality never been in doubt, and we believe that as a goalkeeper, he's now into the right age to be in his prime. Shafik Batambuze, one of the best left backs that this country has produced. Derek Rick Mandungu, for people that may be doubting
and questioning,
and questioning his talent, he's up there. He's up there, and I believe he's going to not only bring fans to the stadium, but also contribute on the pitch as well. The return of Alpha Sali, of course, hopefully, after the few hiccups that he had at NEC and of course KCCA of not having so many games, now maybe he regrets that maybe he should have stayed at Express and made more development. He's now back at Express. They've signed one of the most interesting and exciting midfielder in the Masaza Cup, Nicholas Jonga from Budu. They have a team there. So
they'll ask a few questions.
Yeah, they'll ask a few questions. There is excitement, and whenever there is excitement at Express and Villa, they always compete.
Which is good for the league.
Yeah, which is good for the league.
Okay, so as we continue, because I wanted to ask you about the newly promoted teams, but let's just combine this together. Is this also going to be another bad season for URA FC? I don't want to predict, but what do you make of URA? What do you make of Police, and maybe briefly in Terry Peoples?
Yeah, when it comes to URA, this was a team that was built on winning. I remember the years they were promoted, I think around early 2000s. Unfortunately, despite all the facilitation that they get, because you never hear issues of players demanding allowances or...
they have a budget.
Yeah, they have a budget, a big one. But they have stalled. URA is a side that was known for winning, but a lot has gone on at the club. However, it looks like they are changing their strategy. And CEO, Alan Munaba, and when you look at the signings they've made, and the appointments in the technical committee, bringing on Jimmy Mwera-Chintu from Express, and he's moved with a few of his players from Express. Marvin Nyanzi, Mikidadi Senyonga returns to URA because of the recommendation of the coach. Then Elvis Sekadigo from Express as well. Hafiz, the goalkeeper. I've also heard they may have Arion Nafian back between the posts. So this is a season where they are not going to have excuses. Of course, I don't expect them to win the title. That would be a shock. But the performance from last season ought to be better, and I expect that to be better. The results and performance as well. I don't see them in the title mix, but nice to have them. At least there is a semblance of organization. In terms of signings, it doesn't look like they did panic buys just because they want to get back to the top. Yeah. And that also shows in the technical bench appointment. Then police have not given me the kind of performances they did at the start of last season in the FUFA Super 8. I would say
they had a terrible run.
Yeah. Terrible. I would say they were the worst team in the FUFA Super 8. They've lost a few players. Umaru Kasumba, according to the coach, he doesn't believe Kasumba still has a lot to offer. Rian Figo Chizito, who's moved to Tunisia. James Brian Obed, I heard he was moving to KCCA. I don't know whether that will happen.
It's a done deal.
So they've lost a few of their key players from last season. I've not seen the other guy, is it from Botswana, Gabon? Senzo something. The midfielder, I've not seen him play in the FUFA Super 8. So it could be a long season at Police FC, unless what we saw in the FUFA Super 8 just gave them lessons to
improve and do
better, because they're a team that has always been competitive. Yes, they are not title winners, they don't win cups, apart from when they won the Kagame Cup in 2006, and then the league in 2005, but they are always there. Then in terms of UPPC, in the FUFA Super 8, they played exciting football, of course, with Abdallah Miranda and Babazi. You're already sure about that. But then they don't look lethal. And where they are going to also have a lot of work to do is in the final third. They missed Ambrose Chigozi. There were reports that he could leave and join AFC Leopards. But the good news is that he's back at the club, and he trained towards the end of the FIFA Super 8, though he was serving a punishment for abscondment. They've added a few exciting players. I liked Kokolo. He's from Cameroon, either Cameroon or Congo. The midfielder, left-footed. Then Ibrahim Mugurusi also looked like a player that is going to improve their squad. And then Sharif Sengendo. He's also looked the part. He's looked like the player that KCCA signed from Gaddafi Day, which is now in UPEC. At the back, they're going to miss the leadership of Mustafa Mujuzi. He's going to have a big effect on their performances, especially at the back, because last season they're one of the best teams defensively, and that was mainly partly to Mujuzi's leadership
and the goalkeeper,
Mujuzi's game, and of course the goalkeeper. They have the two goalkeepers still there. That's Dennis Otim and Rogers Omedwa, who did so well. But in the FIFA Super 8, they also looked like they were not sharp yet. Hopefully, they improve in that area. If they get Chigos back into that team, the creation of opportunities this time round looks even far much better than they did in the last season. And I don't expect them to vie for the title, but they are not going to be an easy nut to crack.
Okay, there you go. That's for Entebbe UPPC. Just before we get into the big boys, from the newly promoted teams, Ntunga Sase, Blacks Power, Chigezi Homeboys, and Kataka FC. Of the teams that have been promoted, we haven't had any massive big faces or popular faces that have joined them. How do you think those 4 teams are going to perform? Maybe briefly, who do you pick out? And you'd say maybe Team X, maybe Y, maybe this could stay, maybe. What's your take on the newly promoted?
In the leagues the world over, it's always the newly promoted sides that attempt to get relegated again. Very few survive. And history also shows that newly promoted sides always get back to the same division after just a single season. And I won't be shocked if we see 3-2 or I don't know, by the way, how many teams are going to be demoted. I have to read the rules again. If we are to get back to 16, maybe the more will be demoted. But the thing is, I've not had any action from Kataka.
We know they're going to play from Bukedia.
Actually, that's the only thing that I've heard about them in this pre-season. And of course, I also saw a picture of the team with the 2 white faces, and I'm told they are Brazilians. But to be sincere, I've not heard about any activity there. And that's a team for my friend Tiff. Forget Hassan Chirunda, but I'm talking Tiff, the president, the chairman. So Tiff, but I've not heard anything about them in this pre-season. So I won't be shocked if they get relegated. Then Chigezi Homeboys, a lot of talk in the media about the administration, especially appointing former Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi as their patron. That's a very good move. Playing staff, they signed former SC Villa goalkeeper Norman Angufidru. They've lost Enoko Tumwesije, who was one of their best players last season, to NEC. The beefing of the squad. Then they also got coach Kefa Chisala. I've not seen so many faces that can give me a lot of confidence if I was a Chigezi Homeboys fan that we are going to stay up. So it's going
You're not optimistic as well.
Then Tungasas, a lot of good work off the pitch. But when you look at the signings they've made as well, they could not, perhaps they will shock me, but I don't see much of an impact in the Premier League, because for a team to survive in the Premier League on the first time of asking, sometimes you need to have experienced players that have played in this league before. They've got Apollo Kagogwe, former at West Giants and Maroons. In their ranks, they have a very good coach, Pius Ingabo, who has worked with Abdallah Mbiru, has worked with John Luyendayala before. So he's a good coach, plays some entertaining football, but I won't be shocked if they go down as well. And so is Black's power. Because one of the reasons why I believe this could be a tough season for the newly promoted sides is the fact that they are going to be playing on playable surfaces. You know, when you just get promoted and you're not playing, you are not a team that is based in Kampala.
And we don't know you for possessing the ball.
The beautiful thing that always plays on your side is having a pitch that is not so good.
And that you're used to.
Yes, but now just imagine Black's Power will be hosting from Hoima City Stadium.
Yes.
Kasubi Nabulagala. So there have been no advantage for you as a home team. Tugasas is going to play from Chira Road Arena. That's a very good pitch as well. Then Kataka playing at Bukedia Comprehensive. That's also another good pitch. So it's going to be tough for the newly promoted sides to stay up. But of course, there may be shocks as well. But I won't be shocked if 50% of them go down, or even more.
All of them. Okay, that's for the newly promoted sides in the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. NEC FC lost the FIFA Super 8 final to KCCA FC. But before that, during the FIFA Super 8 tournament, they looked like a side that was a bit deep and had quality on the pitch. Kadu Badru is also trying to put things together. Fad Bio is there with them, and a couple of other signings. How far can they go?
I think in terms of favorites for the title, I put them at number 3, given the performance that they've put up in the FIFA Super 8, as well as the kind of squad they have, and then the motivation they've always had ever since they got promoted. They are a side now that has played together for some time, but they've a little bit unlucky when it comes to winning silverware. Remember, this was their second FIFA Super 8 final. After losing to Villa in 2025, they lost to KCC in the 2026. They lost the Uganda Cup final to Chitara, I think, in the 2024. They are always close to winning something, but then it has not happened yet. They have the players in each position to show not only depth in the squad, but also quality. The addition of Bio, unfortunately, I don't think we start the season because
he was rushed. In my opinion.
He was rushed in. That's the pressure they have in trying to win the title. But I've also heard they are losing Joseph Seremba
to Nairobi
United.
Which is not a good thing, man.
For me, it's not a good thing. He was one of the players that I thought would bring the energy into that midfield. He's energetic, his attitude is top, his character is one that fights for every ball, and is one that's good at passing. He also has some goals in him. Leaving that midfield to Daniel Shaben alone, of course, and Sharif Chimwero. I had Tona Nkunda is injured. Maybe that's why I feel like the decision to cash in on Joseph Seremba, if it's true by the way, I believe that will take a little bit of the squad. However, this is a team that can surprise. And if there is any team outside of Villa, KCC and the Vipers that I think can win a title this season or win something, it's NEC.
With what they have?
Yeah.
All right, so NEC lost to KCC FC in the FIFA Super 8 final, 0-0. Said Manager with that goal. A KCCA team that, first of all, moved away from the top coaches setup. They now have Brian Senior as head coach, Jackson Bagay as an assistant, but also the players that they brought in, Owen Kasule, they've also brought in Yunus Subira and a couple of others. Does this FIFA Super 8 victory going to be the reason for them to perform better this season?
They hadn't won anything since 2019, when they lifted the Sekafa Kagame Cup in Rwanda. But that's the Kagame Cup that I once heard on this forum said it was more of an invitational tournament. Yeah. Remember, it happened when we had the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt, and most of the players from the would-be competing clubs were in the Africa Cup of Nations, including KCCA players. Yeah. So since then, it was important for them to win anything, and I mean anything, even if it meant winning a plate. So
or Independence Cup,
because they were thirsty for anything, and this could be a springboard for them to have a season where they're going to be winning again. When you look at the way they behaved in the market, I think in the past few seasons, this is their best market in terms of players they brought in. And why? They brought in players that are ready to make an impact. Of course, it doesn't mean that they are all going to shine. But when you look at the kind of players they've signed this time round, they are not players for the future. They are players for the present. Ibrahim Kasule, by the time he left this league, he was the best overall player in terms of creativity, in terms of scoring goals. Then at was Soldiers, because just in 15 games he had 11 goal contributions, 6 goals, 5 assists, and he returns a better player, in my opinion, more experienced, more mature, more game understanding, and that also gives Brand Senyondo an opportunity to have so many players in the team that can impact the game. Because remember last season, why they lost the title to Vipers is because they did not have players to stand in when Ivan Imbisiwe or Ivan Mayanja did not score goals. I believe Kasule will score and create as well. Charles Rwanga is a direct replacement for Ivan Imbisiwe, and I believe he's going to have one of his best seasons in the Premier League. He's now experienced, I think he's played 7 league seasons by now. Between 5 to 7. So he's experienced. Maxirowa Chigyu is a player's coach. He knows Brand Senyondo in and out. He showed in the FIFA Super 8 that he can even slot in at centre back because they were lacking that consistent partnership at centre back in the past few seasons. Today they are playing Magambo with Mujuzi. The other day they are playing Obenichano with Mudu. The other day they are playing Enoko Walusimbi with David Chizito. So I expect them to be more competitive this season, more exciting, and for the signing of Kasule, I tip them to be the favorites to win this title ahead of even Vipers. And one of the reasons why I put them ahead of Vipers is because I have a feeling Vipers is going to go all the way to the CAF Champions League group stages, and that will take a toll in its players in terms of the number of games they'll be playing, and also the attention back home could be affected. So KCC, this could be your season to end the trophy drought. And
also maybe to add that compared to previous seasons, they've lost players, but they've also replaced them, sort of, because John Serunjo left, Subira is here. Ivan has left, Neymar is here. However, I have a feeling that they still need some addition to the squad, especially in the number 6 role, because Subira for me is a number 8. He's a box-to-box midfielder, and it explains why Brian Jala, who according to sources is only here until October, November, has been tasked with filling in at number 6, though I'm beginning to dislike his game. The fans and the coaches need to work on this game. And why am I talking about the fans? It's because Jala is a player that can fight for the ball, but also use it well. However, from the fans' perspective, he's now being destroyed into being a destroyer. Like he's committing more fouls and being more aggressive.
And when you hear people in the stands, hey, no, he should use more brain than the physique. The physique
because he has the ability to do so.
He has the ability to do so. So shouldn't just run around chasing people and not using the ball so well. So that's why I think they still lack in number 6. I've heard rumors of them quoting Geoffrey Waswa, and if he comes in, he's a player that can fit in at centre back as well as the number 6. So in there, and also not yet so convinced about the centre back position, because after losing Mustafa Mujuzi to UPEC the other season, you could see there were cracks. Muhammad Hassan has not been the same since leaving Police.
Magambo was struggling with injuries.
Magambo struggled with injuries. Of course, he left by the good that they let him go. I think they should have kept Gavin Kizito, because he gives you more options. He can play at the right, he can play as a centre back, and most importantly, Gavin Kizito is one of the few defenders in this league that is difficult to beat. Yes, he may not use the ball diligently going forward, but when it comes to getting past him, not so many people
are able to do that.
Yes. So, and they've also been question marks in their goalkeeping department. Mugorofa, I have trusted him, but maybe they needed a more experienced, stable goalkeeper in that department. But I believe if they trust Mugorofa as number 1, Emojongo started well his career at KCCA, but is now becoming more of a fan than a player. The young Humphrey did have a game in the first part 8. Maybe they could also do with signing another goalkeeper who could even fight for the number 1 position, because I don't believe that Emojongo and the Humphrey giving enough competition.
Okay, so that's KCCA FC for you. Before you head to Vipers, the record league champions, Sports Club here, they continue with their operation of not signing big names. They go to the Masaza, they pick up a few players, they promote some players from the junior team, and they're ready for the new season.
Yeah, it could be a long season for them.
Yeah,
especially with the players they've lost. I believe Charles Rwanga would have given them another dimension from the strikers they have in Andrew Oting and Frank Sebufu. I've not watched a lot of Isaac Gumpelo, who was the FUFA Big League top scorer season that they brought in to replace Rwanga. He may need time to adapt, because the 2 leagues are different. Then the loss of Miss Diego Semugera
to
the central midfield in Chitara, yes, not your silky midfielder that is going to use that ball so well, but he always provided that cover to the back line. And then Elvis Ngonde also leaving at the same time, because you believe if maybe you let Miss Diego Semugera go, Ngonde could be having his season now. But they brought in a younger Stephen Mugisha. Then in goal, of course, they still have David Lukwago, who was their first choice last season. But they lost 2 goalkeepers in Norman Angofidro and Brady Wokolach. Could be a good decision for the 2 goalkeepers to leave, because by the time a young goalkeeper, David Lukwago, comes in and immediately overtakes you, maybe you need to rejuvenate yourself. Brady Wokolach could be the first choice at Bull now. Yeah. That's a good chance for redemption. Yeah. And so is Norman Agofintro at Chigezi Homeboys. They brought in Hassan Matovu. And from what I saw in the first part 8, when he kept goal in that game against Chitara in the 3rd place playoff, he could offer a brilliant competition to David Lukwago, because David Lukwago has let in some lousy goals. Very, very good goalkeeper, very, very promising goalkeeper. Maybe he needs that competition from a lad who
has a bit of experience.
Who has a little bit of experience, because when you see Brady Wokolach, not much experience in the league. Yeah. Before joining Villa, because he was from NEC, Big League then. Norman Agofindru has also not kept a lot of goal in the Premier League. Hassan Matovu could be younger than the 2, but he's been in goal for Bright Stars and Maroons. Maybe that department, it was not good to lose 2 goalkeepers at the same time, but we know it's a department that always has one player playing the entire season apart from when injury set in and suspension. So they kept their core at centre back, but I believe this could be kind of a tough season for them in terms of what I saw in the FIFA Super 8. So Villa fans out there, take whatever comes. I don't think you're going to be as competitive as the past few seasons, but what you have to understand is there is team you're building. What I don't like about AC Villa at the moment is the fact that we don't know when this team building
will stop.
It never stops because in football you always bring players, but then this system of losing key players at the end of every season because of a disagreement of contract renewals should stop. They could surprise because in this league we've always had people come from nowhere and try to put up a fight, but whatever comes for Villa, Villa fans should just understand it, and maybe Jomal Mandela and the team, they've had a lot of meetings between them and fans in this window. Maybe he did explain to them that we need to be patient. It's difficult to win with the kids. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so Uganda has two clubs that are going to play on the continent: Chitara in the CAF Confederation Cup and Vipers Sports Club in the CAF Champions League. Before we get to the Vipers campaign and how ready they are, Chitara are the immediate team now who are going to be in action. They are hosting Mogadishu FC home and away. They played in the Super 8, finished 4th. Quite a deep team that they have. Chitara right there under Wasabosa. Are they also your favorites?
I would put them 4th after KCCA, Vipers, NEC, then Chitara. Then Villa will come in 5th. But not so convinced with the way they performed in the FIFA Super 8. Forget the results, but even the performances in those games was wanting. We saw a little bit of improvement in the FIFA Super Cup when they lost to Vipers 3-1. But I'm not so convinced. These are the kind of players that Wasabosa has used before, knows them inside out, but they looked unfit to me. Nicolas Cassos still looks a little unfit. The same with Martin Chiza. Then when you look at Miss Diego Semugera, looks like he's a misfit at the club. Then Jerome Chiria has not showed the Jerome Chiria from Bull, and he limped off injured in that game against Vipers. Not sure he'll be fit for the opening match against Villa this weekend, and also the CAF Confederation Cup against Mogadishu. The only positive from this team for me in the window is that the kind of players they have are the kind of the players the coach
knows he's been used to.
So that's where I drew the optimism, but the start could be
a tough one there for them. All right, so the Venoms will be our final point of discussion. Vipers, 7-time league champions. Most importantly, though, is that they're going on the continent. We saw them in the Sekafa Kagame Cup, did not go too far. But of course now we know, after seeing them in the FIFA Super Cup where they beat Chitara, that maybe the head coach is trying to now know how his team is going to line up and everything. We talked about the transfers and those who came in and all. Now the step is, Ismael Kiyonga, from where you're seated, has the head coach now settled with who he thinks this is my team, this is what I'm going with according to what you've seen so far?
Yeah, and from the team that played in the FIFA Super 8, FIFA Super Cup against Chitara, I think the only missing piece was Nicolas Mwere at left back. And then that brings questions to the centre back pairing of Da Silva and Hilary Mukundane. You could find that one of them will make way for Prince Well, Belebeo Tarabina, the Nigerian who played as a left back in that game, because Da Silva has not looked the kind of player
he was last season.
Not even last season.
Yeah.
At the start of last season, because in the second round, he disappeared. He's a player who looked a little bit tired in the close stages of the game. I mean, the season, making unnecessary fouls, elbowing players, making unnecessary arguments on the pitch, and that could bring in this Nigerian plays well. The way he settled in at left back, just a few days after his unveiling, shows the kind of player that could partner well with Hilary Mukundane. So don't be shocked if Da Silva is not the first choice centre back partner to Hilary Mukundane, because for me Hilary Mukundane is a must in that defense. Besides that, I think the lineup we saw, and of course maybe at right back, Jackie Smankoba will give tight competition to Ashraf Mandela. I watched him play in that game against Nairobi United. A few minutes he had on the pitch, and they looked the part. He's a better cross of the ball, better pass of the ball, but of course Mandela has improved a lot as well, given the performances he put up. The performance he put up against Chitara in the Super Cup. But overall, the main concerns for maybe for players, Derek Ndahiro should be in this team, but the fact that he's not in shows exactly he's not gotten the trust of the coach yet. Osama Rafat as well, because you clearly see the coach wants to have Farouk Mia and Karim Watambala playing as two number 10s in his team, but also not sacrificing one of the holding midfielders, because he believes in playing two anchormen. That's Marvin Youngman and Joel Solunjoji. Of course, Enoko Sebagala is still in the sick bay. He could return very soon. I saw him walking around at Nachurubo in the FUFA Super Cup. Murongo looks to have cemented his play
as a forward.
As a forward. Farouk Mia looks more mature, more experienced. The decision making, the intelligence, because we are talking about Farouk Mia 10 years later. By the time he left, like Ibrahim Kasule a few years ago, he was arguably the best player in the league then. That was 2015. So they have a lot of experience. They have squad depth that you envy, because just imagine in that game against Chitara, you have Derek Ndahiro on the bench, you have Osama Rabat on the bench, you have Captain Milton Kalis on the bench, Yunus Sentam on the bench. I didn't see Cesar Manzoki in the squad, so they have a lot of depth. But for Vipers fans out there, I'm also warning you. The Cesar Manzoki you watched a few seasons ago.
You're preempting my question.
It's not the Cesar Manzoki
you're expecting
you're
to see.
to watch this season.
And my question now there, Kiyonga, is okay, for Cesar Manzoki, we know for sure that he wasn't a part in the Sekafa Kagame Cup. We saw what happened. Now he's still yet to bounce back and get his position in the team. What are your expectations of Manzoki? When should people demand for him to show up like he did the last time he played in the UPEC?
He's not going any younger, that's one. I tell them that for people that watch Manchester United play, when Cristiano Ronaldo returned, and the time Cristiano Ronaldo left Man United to join Real Madrid, they could make the comparisons and have the answer. They are going to watch a second Cristiano Ronaldo at Man United. One,
in Cesar Manzoki.
One, that the coaches had the audacity to put him on the bench. Manzoki is not going to be a sure starter. He has to fight for his position with strikers Gusto Mlongo, who looks to be the first choice for Continental then Isaac Ogwang, then Cesar Manzoki in there. So not yet 100%, and I don't think he's going to be, but his presence in the team matters
a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. That's Vipers for you. Ismael Kiyonga, as we conclude our preview into the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. Your top three, is it top five? Who are the champions in the StarTimes Uganda Premier League?
KCCA, Vipers, NEC, Chitara, Villa.
KCC, Vipers, NEC, Chitara, Villa. Ismael Kiyonga's top five by the end of this season.
Yeah, then the surprise packet that could disturb one of the orders: Express, UPEC, URA.
Okay, and your top scorer?
Charles Rwanga.
Of KCCA FC. Guys, we definitely do our content here at the Alchemist Kitchen and Bar. If you're out there and you want to come and have a good meal, have some juice, have some good food, pass by the Alchemist Bar and Kitchen, Bandari Rise, Bugolobi, and you'll be able to have a fantastic time. That's where Pitchside does shoot their content from. Ismael Kiyonga, as always, thank you so much for passing by. And you out there, please subscribe and keep it Pitchside. Cheers.